were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Plumgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Plumgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen.
They'll be calling you a radical. Oh boy, all hands on deck today. What a huge day we got going in the environment, the nuclear thesis, the king and his, or excuse me, the queen, king, queen, and all you serfs out there who participate in your DOGMA SNUGGIES. Oh boy, from Tennessee to California to Oregon to Washington, D.C. to Utah to Montana. I mean, I've been all over, and oh boy, have I seen. The DOGMA SNUGGIES are much worse than I thought. Everybody's in one. Boy, did they indoctrinate every single one of you. You divide up in the dogma, hook, line, sinker, lock, stock, barrel. It's amazing to me. It really is amazing. Talking to people fishing, 200 yards from Diablo Canyon. What, huh? What's that? People that eat out of the ocean all day, every day. What's Fukushima? Megan Rice to be sentenced today. Now, conflicting reports here in Tennessee that last word I got this morning, this is right from Plowshares. Now, they've changed it separately. 3 different ones. They got 2-hour blocks set aside. Now, there's a report coming out of one of the Knoxville news stations this morning. No, that it's going to be at all at 1:30. But Plowshares is still saying that Michael at noon Eastern time, Greg at 2 o'clock Eastern, Megan at 4. One of the Knoxville television stations reporting, no, all at 1:30. So that's the game they're playing with us, You want to talk a shell game just like their nuclear waste. Carlsbad, the pilot. Now, all you so-called nuclear fighters who I've learned that about 90% of people that think they're anti-nuclears don't know jack. I mean, really. People don't know that the Carlsbad Caverns are the pilot program? Really? I'm blown away that people don't know that. That is the pilot program for the nuclear waste. Trinity's waste in there? Yeah, but there's a lot of other stuff in there because Yucca Mountain didn't open. So this is our test program. Well, their test has failed, and you are the human guinea pigs. I can't believe people are not running around in New Mexico with their hair on fire going crazy. Just like when Fukushima happened, I went crazy, and I'm like, what? Everybody look at me like I'm nuts? Well, who's nuts? Not me. Who's the logical one here? Me and a few others, and I want to make sure this is very well known to everybody who listens out there. Any of you Johnny-come-latelys that jumped in a year later, and we need you. We need you all back. I don't care if people jumped in yesterday. We need you. That's where Plowshares and, these so-called anti-nuclear groups really made huge mistakes. They closed up and they created a club, and they didn't let anybody in the club. My club, Post Ignorance, I want 7.2 billion people in my club. I want everybody in. But don't you dare attack the people who did all the freaking heavy lifting in the early days, which is a very small. Any person who attacks that person, boy, are you making a mistake. You better pick your freaking, you really better pick your enemies. Anybody who attacks Jan Brooks, Miss Milky the Clown, has got to be the biggest fool who ever walked. Anybody who attacks Radchick, Christina, has got to be the fool. Do you understand how much work those two did in the early days? I remember when she came to me. She says, "Hey, guy, dude," she says, I've been putting out these videos on Fukushima. Nobody's watching. You know, I started right after you started. And so hey, dude, let me tell you something, dude. And she emailed back, "I'm not a dude. I'm a girl." Anyway, so I got to know her, and she's a wonderful, incredible, brilliant, hard-working person that has put incredible, and she's told this tale in incredible detail, using her I call her the greatest information artist, that's my term, in human history. Christina Radchick, her and Jules, this is the radio station right here. Do you know what kind of work Jules Stan and Christina Costello did in these early days? I mean, all of you that are any kind of keyboard activist or activist, you know damn well that it was either me, Jan, or those two who awoke you out of your DOGMA snuggies. And we have a small army. So you people that want to dive in, you know, I got a FOIA document, you know. We were reporting this before you knew how to spell FOIA documents. And we don't give a damn about no FOIA documents because know this, the NRC got it wrong on a lot of fronts. And if you think those FOIA documents are gospel, oh, do you have a lot to learn about the nuclear thesis. You think that the NRC was reporting out of Japan accurately? No. We know factually they weren't. That's Gregory Jaco's words, not mine. I'd love to have a conversation with Jasko about him and Helen Caldecott and the former Prime Minister of Japan. Oh, we're joining together. We're going to take on this nuclear fight like crazy. I'm in Washington Square, September 28th, for my Post-Ignorance project. Same place I was in the winter 2010, helping organize what turned out to be the Occupy movement. I do the Post-Ignorance project in the 100-year anniversary of the Shirtwaist Fire, which is March 25th, 2011. I was standing there with my Post-Ignorance sign, gathering. We were communicating. You know, Tom Blewett can verify all this in Manhattan. All the early occupiers can verify this. I was working on it, and then, boop, what happened? 3/11/11 happened. I went crazy. They were like, what the hell? You've dropped all your feudalism rhetoric and your social inequality rhetoric. And I said, yeah, because nothing else matters. This just went over the top of all of it. The feudalistic king and all his puppets and the queen, which sure isn't a politician. You think Barack Obama wields power? Boy, are you freaking blind. You think any of these politicians wield power? We know who the freaking powers are, the queen and her puppets and her uranium mines. But they've gone too far this time. As I stood in front of the White House, I led the Million Masked Men March. I led that. And I want people to really understand and know this. Capitol Police, oh, they knew who I was. Plain clothes, right up to White House Police. We did our interview with RT the day before. But the synchronicity to this is crazy. I had no idea that Ernie, head of the Department of Energy, one of the Queen's main puppets, the nuclear whore that he is, was in Japan. And they were backing out of Livermore Lab. And I got to tell this to RT. RT and I spoke to their producer, and they did a lot of great work, and they've done a lot of great work on this. But they got had here last week. They were had. There was a report published by RT talking about the Livermore Lab. Now, the Livermore Lab was handed the keys. We know this to Fukushima, John Holden. Yeah, he did write 2 books on Eugene. Yeah, the same guy who made the bet. This guy had been rogging this dog and pony show, and it's failed. They reported that the Livermore Lab was reporting they got closer to cold fusion than ever. That's their headline. Then read the article. Oh, we're beaming lasers all over in there, and we actually produced more the strength than we were, and, there's still a small byproduct. That's new. That's the same old tired rhetoric. Oh, we have a new phase of nuclear bombs. We have a new phase of nuclear reactor. We use different metals, so it doesn't produce. That's such bullshit. Anybody who buys into that, including Norway, Sweden, Denmark, any of those people are there, you got your head up your ass. It's a lie. And so you read the article, and I want everybody to look that article up and then read. What's the name printed as the scientist at Livermore? Do you think his name is really Omar Hurricane? Really? Yeah, read through it. Omar Hurricane. Really? You've been had, RT. Just like they tried to have me and put out this fake BS story about they want to be royals. By the way, that girl's name, Ella Marie, I'm sure that's not her real name. That's our family's name. That's my daughter's name, my granddaughter's name, my grandmother's name, my great-grandmother's name, Ella Marie. And, she went on this tirade and thing, and, you people fall for this bullshit. You can't believe anything in print media anymore. I've learned my lesson well. Man can tell 1,000 lies. Oh, boy, do they tell 1,000 lies. Oh, that song was written for Madonna in 1986 for a true story. Oh, yeah. Right after what happened? Chernobyl. How do we not know the evacuation zone of Chernobyl? How do we not know about Y-12? How do we not know that Reagan, Richard Rose put it out so beautifully. By the way, Richard Rose is one great anti-nuclear. I love that guy. I want to freaking give that guy a big hug. That play, which, by the way, I can prove the club. Now, I love Carol Gallagher, don't get me wrong, for American Ground Zero. She stood up for my father. But the rest of these that are in the club here in Utah, they have an anti-nuclear club. They serve cheese balls, they have cocktails, whatever. Do I get involved? No, are you kidding? Are you kidding? All these clubs, Plowshares has a club. They're a great club, and they're strong, and they're powerful, but it's a club. The anti-nuclear movement here, where they sit around their club, they close the doors. Sierra Club, a club who's pro-nuclear, not anti-nuclear. Had a big conversation with a woman yesterday about the Sierra Club. I knew Walt Stegner personally. I met Stuart Yalla many times. Oh, who's the senator in New Mexico right now? Oh, his nephew? Could make a pimple on his freaking uncle's ass. Stuart Udall be rolling his grave. Stuart Udall was a man. All these strong environmentalists, done, gone, they passed away. They died. And who took the field? The baby boomers who are so sick and so indoctrinated and so much in their dogma, hook, line, sinker, in their dogma strike. Money, money, money. Comfortably dumb, comfortably numb. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm standing right on the pier at Avia. I mean, right there, one of the great old multi-generation fishermen. He was awesome. Come up. He said, Kevin, they found a dead garfish right here. I said, why that's not reported in the media? What media? There's no media here. There's not even any good vloggers or bloggers down there? No. Dana Meyer, the greatest geographical genius in California, who's mapped every note. Yeah, she showed up. Oh, Joe, the great, incredible freelance photographer, who showed me in reality how many sea lions and seals are still alive and how dynamic that ecosystem is. Oh, he showed up. The multi-generation old couple from Monterey who are disgusted with freaking the lies. Oh, they showed up. Jules Eastman, this true spiritual leader down there. Oh, she showed up. All these people that really give a damn, they showed up. The rest of the false names and bravado, they don't show up. I've learned something. Why are there no cities out of the Pacific Ocean? Why do we see nothing from the marine biologists? And by the way, we took our Geiger counters everywhere, all over. Why do we see no studies? I've learned. Marine biologists don't know how to study the ocean. It's true. You have these giant marine biologists. You want to talk bankers robbing us? You want to talk the greatest welfare queens in the United States right now are all up and down the West Coast, mostly in California, and the federally funded marine biology departments at Cal sucking up trillions and trillions of dollars. Some of those people make $3,000-$4,000 a year. and they've never studied the ocean in their life. Pencil pushing, paper, oh no, they're way worse than that. They don't know how to study the ocean. They don't know how to do it. Why do you think you're seeing those studies come on the fish? They don't know how. Why do you think we're happy to rely on freelancers like myself? As me and Jan, me and Jan had a long conversation in the early days. It's pretty freaking crazy that you and I have had to take up nuclear physics. We've had to turn into rocket scientists as a hobby, which is not turned into a hobby. It's turned into a full blown out 7 days a week, 12 hours a day fight for my life with cancer. I can't believe I've been able to do what I've been able to do. Jan either. I've done this with no money, no backing, no support. A few people that don't have money, Lonnie Clark, John Kirk in Canada, a few people sent me a little bit of money here, and I've done this. This morning I'm trying to get on my freaking computer. Wife, what a disaster. A guy sent me a laptop, that doesn't work, but it's amazing how organic and freelance we have to be, why these departments are sucking trillions federally funded out. They don't know how to study the ocean. They really don't. We've had 30 or 40 years of no activism. We got shoved in a corner, and we got bullied underneath the table, and that big radical, the Rush Limbaughs of the world, the Sean Hannity's of the world, the Glenn Beck mentally ill nuts, Operation Foxconn, CNN, the latte-eating Al Gore piece of phony tips to the far left that are giant frauds, well felt their dogma, and we hid under the table. By the way, one of my goals in life is I want to fight Ted Nugent. I really want to fight that guy. Bad. I know one of his ex-wives, In fact, I was with her when he met her, and she's sad. Ugh. My dad used to say, you want to know everything about a man? Everything about a man. Look at his partner. Boy, is it true. Is it true? I wish the first ladies we had in the history of this country, especially the last while, were in the country instead of their sorry ass, disgusting cowards, all of them, all the way back to freaking John Kennedy. We got presidents who refuse to stand up to the Queen and their corporate elite puppets, feudalism. They refuse to stand up. They got no balls. They're cowards, absolute cowards. Barack Obama, Uncle Tom, the greatest Uncle Tom in human history. Uncle Tom looked like he was a rebel. It's disgusting. But what do you expect for a half-white man raised by upper middle class, neoconservative white bank examiners in Hawaii? Oh yeah, he's really from the urban city. I love it. The African American community, boy, they've fallen for him. Not my words, Cornel West words, who I love Cornel West. He's a genius. Absolutely genius. I really want to pick a fight with Naomi Wolf. I really want to pick, excuse me, not Naomi Wolf. What if I didn't slip there? Sorry, Naomi Wolf. Klein, Chris Hedges, Daniel Ellsberg, so-called brilliant geniuses who've done nothing but. Don't you love it how they come out 10 years after 9/11? They come out years after Fukushima, and with the and they come out with their freaking feudalism, fascism, freaking spinning rhetoric. But at the time, when they had the platform and they could have moved culture, they worked for places like the New York Times and the New Yorker who really could have moved culture, but they didn't. Why? Same reason the marine biology departments don't. They don't know how. They're frauds. They're giant frauds. Noam? Yeah, I love Noam Chomsky. He's an old man. Go write another fucking book. Maybe you get up for 10. I mean, the whole lot of, like the artists in Manhattan, like a wall decorator for oligarchs. They got no balls. They don't stand up. Remember this about Jackson Pollock, who's from here, out here. When Peggy Guggenheim freaking found him and sponsored him. Well, she sponsored him. And one of the wealthiest women in the world, she broke ranks and sponsored him. Why did she do it? Because she liked to have sex with young artists. That's a fact. She had a Freudian agenda. Well, he wouldn't fall for her bullshit. She tried to posture and groom him. She took him to a party in her Fifth Avenue, freaking one of her multi-mansions with the multi-billionaire that she was. trillionaire maybe by today's standards. In front of all of her oligarch friends, he tipped over the table and stood there and took a piss in her fireplace. We don't have men like that anymore. And if we do, have rhetoric and radicals and lunatics, they come to me constantly. All the oligarchs, blah, 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 and they go crazy, and they go psycho, and they're freaking, that's the problem. Then you ask them, who's your congressman? Don't know. What's the three branches of government? Don't know. Name me 2 Supreme Court justices? Don't know. Let me tell you something. Intense, passionate rhetoric without intelligence is the most dangerous thing on earth. Intense, passionate fighting with intelligence is the most powerful thing on earth. Corporate conversations are dangerous. Passionate, intelligent conversations get resolved. Keyword intelligent. You want to jump into the nuclear fight. You want to jump into the environmental fight. You want to talk into the social inequality, the socioeconomic fight. You have to know what you're talking about. How can you get into this when you don't know 4th grade civics? I mean, it's a fact the Supreme Court is illegitimate, totally illegitimate, as it was for many years. Alito and Roberts were appointed by an illegitimate president. And these are not my words. These are Justice Breyer's dissent. His dissent in the Gore-Bush fight. Why did Gore just lay down? Well, we know now why he laid down. I mean, we were naive as an American public. We hadn't realized that the entire country the Queen had completely captured back. The return of King George had happened. We didn't understand. Didn't understand that jolly old England had returned. We didn't understand that that's why Bill Walmart Clinton, the Oxford Rhodes Scholar, signed that. And when he called himself the next John Kennedy, he ran as the next John. Okay, think about that. Think of, again, partners. Think about John Kennedy's wife. What a beautiful, spiritual, incredible environmentalist genius she was. Oh, Marilyn Monroe. Oh, Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky, Hillary Clinton. Really? Really? That's like comparing a Bugatti to a 72 Pinot. He's the opposite of John Kennedy. He's a fraud. Barack Obama, a fraud? Oh, gigantic, the biggest freaking Uncle Tom in human history. And if what's going on today doesn't prove it to you, Megan Rice being sentenced, I'll give reports as soon as I get off the phones when the hearing's supposed to start. I'll get it to you guys. I'll try to freaking upload video as fast as I can. I'm working off a piece of junk laptop on the fly. I'm all over this country. This has not been easy. This is a hard gig. Remember, I have AML leukemia. I like people say, oh, some woman posted me yesterday. Well, get better already. Okay. Get better already. Let me tell you something about this disease. Number one, when you get it, your chances of being alive for 60 days are pretty well zero. It attacks you. It's a Hail Mary from hell. But once after you survive, the chemo, all because you say, oh, smoke some weed, eat free, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, when you go into the hospital and you say, hey, I have acute cancer. I mean, it obliterates. I went from 170 to 130 in 3 weeks. Kills you so fast. Like a spit water against a drone, you and all your freaking homemade remedies. Yeah, they're great before you get cancer. But you think just that diet or what you put in your body is going to protect you from it? No. I call it the wolf spirit. People don't even understand the wolf spirit. And they never will. Because everybody's lost their wolf spirit. They've lost their intensity and passion and love for the environment and love for life. They've lost it. They totally lost it. They don't have it anymore. I do. I love these mountains. I love the bird. I got so turned on in California on the pier. It's funny. I'll put up one video and I get 5,000, 20,000 views. And then I'll put one that I absolutely love, 400 views. I shoot that video off the pier and there's the family of seals. I didn't know they were there. That turned me on so much. That ecosystem right there is so incredible. Oh my, what? As right there at the slopes now from Diablo Canyons where the indigenous coastal natives launched their canoes for thousands of, you can see why. Oh boy, to go back in time and see that ecosystem. Because we're murdering it. Off Santa Barbara, they try to coax the tourism industry more than even. It's all tourism economy, which they've got it backwards. Their Chamber of Commerce thing, people come there to eat their fish tacos and rent their beach combers and their stupid bikes and all the. No. They come there to see the Pacific Ocean, and rightfully so. Who wouldn't want to see it? That blue, incredible, magnificent gem. You got it all backwards. So they coax in the cruise lines. So the cruise lines, they give them permission to dump their waste off the coast of Santa Barbara. Like they didn't have enough oil, like Stanford didn't ruin that whole place already. You know, they build these freaking ugly freaking apartments right up, in Pacific Beach last summer, you know, with the USS Reagan lawsuit. I'm involved with that. You people don't even know. There I was doing videos right there. Oh, what, huh? Right up onto the edge of the water. They're actually building houses on the beaches up along there. What is the matter with you people? I mean, no respect for the environment, no respect for the animals, no respect for and in Tennessee, on Balco, they care less about the environment. I talked to a guy who lived his whole life right there out there in Oak Ridge. How could you possibly live in Oak Ridge and not know the thesis of the Manhattan Project in Oak Ridge? I mean, that's impossible, right? Yeah. Oh, no. It's amazing to me. How can this country get this ignorant? If this would have happened 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, that the caverns where they're storing our nuclear waste, yeah, you didn't want Yucca Mountain? Harry Reid bought Yucca Mountain. Harry Reid grew up in Yucca Mountain. That's why I put Jacko there. Jacko went into the Situation Room right after 3/11. You could see him come out. We had Senate and congressional hearings. Oh, really? You guys don't even know that. He took the fifth, and he resigned. Pointed Allison McFarland, who I know personally. Allison McFarland is a geologist. She used to be on our side. Writing books about there's an ancient river under Yucca Mountain. But she's probably right. There's no good answers. There's a couple bad answers. Put it in caverns, shoot into space. But the best answer is quit making the fucking shit. How many nuclear bombs do you need? You want to blow up the Earth? We have enough nuclear bombs to blow up the Earth 4,000 times over. Just us in the United States alone. Richard Rhodes, his play, Gorbachev says to him, Gorbachev's wife, Gorbachev, by the way, was the greatest anti-nuclear in human history. Because he saw Chernobyl with his eyes. 580,000 men went in there. His beautiful wife died of what I have. Like so many people in Russia have died. If you don't think Pussy Riot and Femen are totally in bed with the nuclear thesis and that's how they evolved, you're a fool. The revolution in Ukraine is deeply hardcore embedded with the freaking Chernobyl lie. That's how I met Megan Rice. I was involved with one of the girls from Femen in a very intimate way. I met Megan Rice in Las Vegas. I met her mom first, Madeline. One of the greatest anti-nuclear activists in human history, well, human rights activists. I mean, her and Martin Luther King, they were partners. Partners in not crime. What's going on at Y12? Richard Rose pulls it out so beautifully. Gorbachev says to Reagan when they're going anti-nuclear. And remember this, Nancy was anti-nuclear. The astrologer was anti-nuclear. Big time anti-nuclear. Ronnie listened to that astrologer. She was huge anti-nuclear. You don't think your voice and your community and your phone calls to staffers at Congress and senators can make a difference? One people can make huge difference. That astrologer made a huge difference on Ronald Reagan. Gorbachev says, okay, we're going to sign the non-proliferation contract. Let's go all the way. He had the documents drawn up. Ronald Reagan reached out to sign it. Said, let's do it. All of it gone. That would have been the end. It just shows you even then who was running the show, the military industrialized complex, the mass murder, the Queen's knights. This ain't even knights. Now they're killing themselves. Reached out and grabbed his arm. Said, no, we'll come back tomorrow. We have to run this through different channels. They came back the next day. Gorbachev says they had a hold of both of his arms. But they did sign what does the contract say? International law. International law. Who's breaking the law? Not Greg, Michael, and Megan. Y12 breaking the law in a big, big, epic way. They should be, we need a new Hague. We need a new Hague. And these people should be hung. They should be hung up, skinned alive, set on fire, and burnt and hung like Mussolini. These are the greatest mass murderers in history at fucking Y12. They're fucking liars. We signed it to get rid of them. We are not only not getting rid, we are making more every day, testing them. They're breaking the law. This had to be done. Megan had to do this because none of you cowards got the balls to freaking stand up to the freaking Queen and her freaking army. Because you're in your dogma snuggie. You think you might get in the club like Barack Obama got in the club. Ooh, you're in the club now. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Uncle Tom, come on in. Al Gore, come on in. You're in the club. You can get on the board of directors of Google and Apple. Here, come on in. Oh, you're an environmentalist? Al Gore's an environmentalist. When he builds a house that sucks up $8,000 worth of energy a month, tries to rape two massage therapists. Separately. Tipper, that beautiful soul. Oh, where's Al Gore from? Oh, Tennessee. Yeah, it all seems to come back to Tennessee. Where was Dr. King killed? Oh, Tennessee. Where was Paddling Canoe? I love his quotes. They stood up to Soto clear back then. Where were all those secret abolitionists? Not the ones we hear about, the Gimlet girls and Harriet Beecher Stowe, those beautiful souls. They were scattered through those hills of Tennessee. Where are they now? Oh, they're there. They're there. I've got to know them. They're there. They're called plowshares. Oh, yeah. They're the modern-day abolitionists. Big, big deal. And when you all are dying of cancer, and none of you can get this through your soul and get this through your freaking head, that death via cancer, and you punks, P-U, capital P-U, oh, that's a symbol for plutonium. Punks who say, oh, there's a cure for cancer. Cannabis can. You're, beyond naive, beyond ignorant. Oh, I'm going to take a potassium iodine tablet. Beyond naive, beyond ignorant. Oh, there's evacuation signs. Beyond naive, beyond ignorant. Ignorance is no excuse with me. Especially if you want to jump in and be a keyboard activist and you want to know your subject matter. I really learned the last few days. People are thinking the Carlsbad Caverns is the national park down there, and they just, what? There's a fire inside, and, something. Really, how can you be an anti-nuclear and not know about the pilot program down there? Everybody knows that. Well, I thought. Again, I've learned. Everybody's divided up in their dogma study, and they're in their club. Well, here's what I say to their club, especially in Utah. I'll kick your fucking door down on your fucking club. I'm going to crash your fucking party, just like I did in their club down in San Diego. Oh, they circled the wagons in their little fucking environmental club that's so soft and passive. I showed up down there in critical condition. I kicked their fucking door down in their fucking club through this YouTube site of mine. I kicked the fucking door down and I crashed that fucking party. And when Kevin Blanch fucking kicks down the fucking door and his small army gets involved, San Opry shuts down. When he says over and over and over, we're hitting the beach on D-Day. We're going to hit them. They're not going to know what fucking hit them. When I fucking through my room, exposed the fraud of Blue Castle and shut those fuckers down. And then Heal from Utah and these fucking softball activists because, we need a cause. God, I look, the anti-nuclear cause because Fukushima's getting big again. Our investors want to send us money. We better hurry and file a lawsuit and hire Heine Gundershield to destroy all Kevin Blanch's work. I have the whistleblowers from inside San Opry coming to me because of this YouTube site, because of Fukushima. While in critical condition, they understood. They saw me, my pain. They saw me freaking dying. It got through them. They got a conscience, they got a soul. So I leaked it to the media down there. And the media started talking about it. Finally, the local media. Then one big, big thing happened. We exposed a great group of activists in San Diego after I kicked their fucking door down. Kathy Iwan come back from Japan and kicked their fucking door down. New blood into these old, tired, fucking worn-out groups that accomplished jack. They got some new blood, and they spread some new intelligent, dynamic, real life into them. Oh, what? PG&E is committing fraud on the nuclear changeout on the generator? What? Kevin Blanch went actually out to Energy Solutions while Kirkland did with a Geiger counter and proved the fraud? Oh, Barbara Boxer's office got involved as I called her every day for freaking how long from my hospital room. So many of us have called every day. As I organized, you know, my YouTube site, I gave her number over and call him. And we spoke articulately in an intelligent way, and we educated that group. And we said, we want them in jail. We want them in jail. We want them in jail. That's the only thing that these monsters fear. They fear jail. She threatened them with jail. They knew if they had an open hearing, and we weren't going to bring in Arnie Gundershield for our expert witnesses. Oh, no. We were bringing in the real passionate, intelligent activists in Southern California, like Gene Stone, like Ace Hoffman, like Myla Reason, like Kathy Iwan. We were going to put them on the stand. And we were going to go after these in knowledge, in intelligence, and in passion, and we were going to have these guys put in jail. They weren't about to have any part of an open hearing. Oh, we're done. Bye-bye. Same with Diablo Canyon. They're going down next. Let's hope it goes down before they have an earthquake. But everybody around the country doesn't even know the story of Megan Rice. No due process. She's been tortured. She's been tortured. Cruel and unusual punishment? Absolutely. Absolutely. In violation of the Constitution. Oh, what Constitution? They shredded that thing. Why do you think he stood on that ship and held up that banner? Mission accomplished. Prescott's freaking grandson. The drunken alcoholic. You know, it's funny. You ever been to a 12-step meeting? Isn't it amazing how every one of these guys, they jump from the cocaine, they jump from the cocaine, they jump from the cocaine, they jump from the bottle of Glenn Beck, and they go right to the freaking God. And they go right in when they know nothing about God. They go right to the Bible when they know nothing about the Bible. And they become this holier-than-thou assholes. They're going to cleanse the world all by themselves when they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. Oh, yeah, W. Bush. Oh, yeah, a couple certain anti-nuclear freaking FOIA document freaks. They've lost their fucking way. You think you're going to jump into this and totally educate them and you're going to make a difference when you haven't even done anything? This is a long, long, hard road. It takes a lot of work. And there's a lot of people that have walked that road. Mothers for Peace down there. Oh, boy, have they walked that road. There's a lot of incredible activists that have been out there fighting their ass off. For decades, including myself. Watching my father die. I was head of the Atomic Veterans for years, laying in the Nevada test site next to Megan Rice, talking about the nuclear fuel being moved all over the country and turned into nuclear weapons. That's the only reason any nuclear reactor exists on this country. The only reason to make more nuclear weapons, so the Queen can point them, and her uranium mines can suck up wealth, and they can point those weapons at foreign lands, so that the Queen can extract their natural resources. And you pay the Dragon Slayer, not me. I hope the judge, and the rumor I'm getting, just a rumor. Don't you love it how Pope Francis, we've been going to him over and over, and it's Megan's family says, yeah, he'll get involved when pigs fly. Boy, were they right. Barack Obama. Power? He has no power. That's the most limp dick freaking human. Over the most limp dick, freaking no power, freaking softest, freaking African American males in human history. Of course, he's not African American. Nothing African American about him. He's a white guy from freaking Hawaii, raised by neoconservative, upper class bank examiners. Head of Harvard Law. Oh, Barry, you must be on the basketball team. Why do you say that? Tall, skinny, half freaking black guy at Harvard. Yeah. Mitt Romney. His name's Willard. You're talking the drug cartel from northern Mexico. You're talking one of the most evil, dumb, low IQ pieces of scum that ever walked. Josh Romney. You want to talk a piece of scum? I know them all. They're from here. Well, they're not from here. They claim here. They're from Michigan. They're not Utah. Mormons, most of the Mormons in the apparatus, the real ones who in the know, they hate those people. Glenn Beck claims he's a Mormon from here. Most real Mormons from the grassroots think they hate those people. It's ironic. None of them are from here. None of them. They're frauds. They're the Queen's puppets. And you go along in your dogma snuggie. You won't get involved. You can't call your you don't even know who your congressman is, please. Oh, that won't work. How do you know? They sure work with Barbara Boxer's office. Nobody believed the San Onofre would be shut down. The most hardcore of the activists. I stood there when I met Kathy Iwan a year ago at the hearing down there. We overwhelmed that hearing. She was trapped in Japan. She was trapped there. She was getting reports via me. Everybody coming up to me, Kevin, can I have my picture, because that was the only reports coming out. She told the truth in that hearing. People listened to her. She's a school teacher with children. San Diego County School Board had a vote. Because of her, they voted to shut the piece of shit down. They know that it's been leaking. It's a disaster on that, the most spectacular beach maybe in the world, San Onofre. Oh, what's right there? Camp Pendleton. The Atomic Marines, where my father was freaking carted off into the desert and nuked to death and his tonsils cut out and experimented on like Cuban lab rats. And then erased, no medals, no money, no nothing. My freaking widowed mom for all those years. Not a dime, not a penny. That's who these monsters are. That's who the nuclear cartel is. Megan Rice could have took on any social issue she wanted. She's the strongest human rights activist on the face of the earth. Bar none. Bar none. No one's even close to her. She's sitting in a freaking prison at 55 degrees in a holding facility for 9 months now. She's being tortured. They're torturing her. She was due to do an interview the 26th. I'm standing right at the jail of January with the BBC. It's all arranged. It was all go. U.S. Marshal's Office steps in at the last minute, comes into the jail. Oh, no. Pulls the plug. U.S. Marshal's Office all over the courtroom. We have no Constitution. Doesn't matter what the judge sentences now. She needs to be free, but what have they already done to her? She didn't break the law. Y-12 is the biggest violators on the face of the earth of law. They make the Nuremberg trials look soft. Where's the Hague? Oh, yeah, and I like internationally. Let's give Barack Obama a Nobel Peace Prize. Really? Really? The day he takes off? You look at his early speech. You ever seen a guy so in love with himself? Because he's like, what the hell? They put me on this pedestal like I'm Jesus Christ when I've done nothing. He got so overwhelmed in love with himself. Now you look at him. He's like a little whipped dog down freaking thing. He towers down to the Queen like the puppet that he is, just like W did. Just like W, Dick Cheney's little bitch. Here, boy, good little bitch, on my leash. Dick Cheney, his evil attorney. Why are those not guys being tried for crimes against humanity? Why? There's warrants around the world. George Bush canceled his trip to Switzerland because there's warrants. Just like Kissinger. Oh, who showed up to Fukushima, Japan, right after saying is their team? Who went over there? Yeah, Kissinger. This lady judge, Judy. These are the same old players. The IEA, they give permission to TEPCO to dump the water into the Pacific. Who the fuck are they to give permission? They're the nuclear cartel. How do we hand these fuckers over this power? The World Health Organization is the nuclear cartel? What the fuck is the matter with you people? What is the matter with all of you? Megan Rice should be the greatest story in the world 20, 30 years ago. If there was a siren going off at Yucca Mountain or on one of the nuclear reactors or this waster, this country would go psychotic. Not now. You're on your dogma snuggie. You're worried about Obamacare, which the state of Utah has had Obamacare for 10 fucking years. You're worried about all these issues that mean shit. Gay marriage, gun rights. They mean shit because the wedge issues have worked on you so dramatically. Word I'm getting is Megan's going to be sentenced at 4 o'clock Eastern. That's the word I'm getting right now. Why did they push that back in the individual? And I'll tell you why. I was in that courtroom. He's sitting in the courtroom. Mary Evelyn Tucker, the old friend of the Rices. Dr. Rice, Madeline Rice, Martin Luther King, all these great activists. Oh, yeah, NYU, Washington Square again. Yeah, I timed my September 28th gig. at Washington Square. We walked Alexander Hamilton. Oh, now you get it why we walked out. We even had a little teeny guy with us, little 3-year-old activist. We went down there to his grave. And by the way, I've hammered New York City for 30 years on why do you not restore his grave? Oh, they're restoring it finally now. Groupon, give the deal. Our President Hamilton on President's Day. That's a stupid president. And all you people that think that Jefferson and Hamilton hated each other, know this. Hamilton took a bullet for Jefferson. Hamilton was the first real powerful abolitionist. His father, orphan, yeah. Scottish Reich royalty father, oh yeah. He didn't even know him. Never signed. That guy freaking left her hanging in the Caribbean. He saw the slave trade firsthand in the Caribbean. He was doing the books for the freaking slave traders at 12, 13, 14. He hated freaking slaves. The first free zone right there at Washington Square, where Madeline Rice grew up, right there in that square, in that park. The history oozes there on all these abolitionists. He read Greek tragedies over and over as a boy. He ended up being the greatest Greek tragedy of our time. But he got it. He did not believe in usury. He did not believe in enslaving people. Neither did Madeline Rice. Neither did Abraham Lincoln. Neither did all these greats. Yeah, they all paid for it. They laid down their lives for us. Including John Kennedy. His wife went in to the Oval Office early one morning. She laid down on his desk, Silent Spring. Rachel Carson realized Rachel Carson was dying as she laid down her life. She says, you either read this book or don't ever call in bed with me again. Oh, he read that book. Then, July 1926, non-open-air test ban treaty, which I find so iconic in my life now that I have animals fighting for my life. He goes on national TV against the military complex. Oh, all of them. They wanted his head and they wanted it now. He banned the open-air testing. He talked about leukemia. Giving it to generations before they're born. 1963. A few months later, he's dead. Every president since, pro-nuclear, for the Queen, so they could point their nuclear weapons and threaten the world and rob and steal their natural resources. Them, not we. We don't have a solvent problem here. What is it going to take, really? Fukushima, I thought, that's it. It's over. We have chance. Is it too late? Yeah, it's too late for so many now. So many of you are going to die of cancer, and you won't even know that it was freaking Fukushima that killed you. Stay untuned? Yeah, I won't eat fish out of the Pacific. Surf in the Pacific? I wouldn't, but that's your choice. Is the Northern Pacific up there in Alaska, Canada, San Francisco on the beaches worse than Southern? Hell yeah, because of the plume. And by the way, these guys are using the word plume gate. Go into all my early videos for a year before they even knew what I've been. What was I calling them? Oh yeah, Newt Gate, Plume Gate. Oh yeah, in symphony with Pussy Riot and Fan Man before anybody even knew who they were. Fighting this in incredible detail. No activists, no nothing, no nobody. Just rhetoric. It's pockets. How do you protect yourself? Well, I say just don't eat anything out of the ocean. And think about this every time you go to have some fish in the Atlantic or the Pacific. Just take the radiation out of the equation. In in Santa Barbara, actually, they wanted more cruise ships in there. So they bring their cruise ships in there, and they let them dump their human waste. All kinds of new fish species are coming out from all that freaking grotesque. And in the Atlantic, you think that's let's go to the freaking Gulf and have some of them disbursement. Oh, who was that who sealed off our public beaches? BP, British Petroleum, public beaches, put fence around with guards and whatnot, burning mammals. Oh yeah. Spraying disbursement on it? Oh, so eat up on those oysters. Have some of those nice shrimp. It devastated that freaking culture and economy for time and all eternity. When Sandy raged through the eastern United States, Oyster Creek opened up All of them, all those nuclear plants, that's what they do. When they get into that threat, they just open up and they flush all their waste because nobody's watching. They said there was a plume of human waste flushed into the Atlantic Ocean, 10 miles high and 100 miles long. So eat up. Eat up. I wouldn't eat anything out of any ocean if somebody put a gun to my head. The CDC will tell you themselves, those liars, they call it a cancer pandemic. How come we just accept, we'll cut our prostate out, we'll cut our breast off? I mean, you think about a female, a young, beautiful, attractive female. Preemptive strike will cut her own breast off. Oh my God. Do you think our parents' cultures, our grandparents wouldn't have went completely psychotic about this? That you accept death. I've watched her. I'm head of our support group. I've watched people. God's will, God's will, God's will. Really? Pick and choose all your Jesuses. I'm sitting in the courtroom, walk out on the 28th, walk across in that snowstorm over there to get something to eat because I'm cold. And there's 3 young evangelical preachers practicing. And you talk to them about Megan Rice. Don't even know what you're talking about because you pick and choose your Jesuses and define your own. It's ridiculous. I've seen you know nothing about the man. And I got into an argument yesterday with a woman. Well, Jesus and God are one and the same. I said, no, they're not, even if you believe in all that. Most atheists love Jesus Christ. I thought he was the Son of God. What? What? You pick it up and choose. Jesus Christ, thou shalt not kill. Forgive them, for they know what they do. And I believe that's what Megan Rice will say. Now, I don't know. Surely not going to speak for that incredible woman. The rumor is the judge wanted to dance out because he was so emotional in that courtroom. They cut that off for a snow day. They cut that off for a snow day. They cut it off. The federal marshal stepped in and had a freaking little talk with him. I was in the courtroom. Cut it off because he was so emotional. How could you not be? Those speeches that were given are the most powerful speeches I've ever heard in my life. Marion Evelyn Tucker says, just like this, that little weasel of a prosecutor. Theodore. Hi, Theodore. If you walk around and call yourself Jeffrey or Theodore, hair straight, punks. I remember what guys like that used to get their ass kicked in this country. Boy, they're paying us all back now, aren't they? He says he called Megan Rice disingenuous. To her face! The whole courtroom. These are the real deal in that courtroom. Greg and Michael are the real deal, and I've heard their speeches, and he's getting ready. He'll be giving his in just a few minutes. I've already heard them, and I'm telling you, they're unrelentless. They are unwavering. And I'm telling you, wait till I'll read them. I'll read back freaking Michael's and Greg's and Megan. I've heard Michael's and Greg's excerpts from them, from their wife and their aunt. It's the greatest spiritual potluck in history, and I'm telling you, they are incredible men, and they're incredible speeches that will move you. They're unwavering in their sacrifice. Megan's, I'm sure, will be epic today. And I'm sure, well, I don't know. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Marion Evelyn Tucker got on the stand. She said, I was really taken back by you saying disingenuous. She is the most genuine person on earth. I've known her since I was a little girl. Every fiber of her being. She goes back. You got to realize Martin Luther King was part of raising Megan Rice. She says, the great giant lineage of Gandhi, of Martin Luther King, of Nelson Mandela, Megan Rice is that lineage. She nailed it. Oh boy. And Timothy, that little rat, the weasel, fake Christian who can rot in the lowest form of hell as far as I'm concerned. Hope he gets cancer behind his eyeballs and it burns him out of his fucking head. Punk. Because I'm not as forgiving as they are. I watched my father be loaded in a body bag. I don't forgive, and who the fuck am I to forgive? I'll never forget. Everybody says, get over it, Kev, get over it. Oh, curse the spite that I was ever born to set this right. I will never fucking get over it. They're more forgiving than I. I don't forgive. I want them fucking hung. I want them held up upside down, set on fire, and skid like fucking Mussolini. Evil more. They want to fucking try to kill me? Put me in a Beaumont, take every dime I've got, destroy my life, kill my father and deprive his happy, beautiful, incredible, fucking happy life that he had, mow it down. Why? Why? To make the Queen a few more billions? Trillions? Liars. He looked right at Mary Evelyn Tucker, and he cross-examined everybody in that courtroom. Not her. No question. I thought, you weasel little punk pussy. Yeah, I bet no freaking thing. Will he pay? Oh, yeah. He's going to fucking pay. He'll be nooked up in the fucking lowest corner, wherever our spirits go. Back to Einstein. Back to Y12. Back to the Manhattan. Back to Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Einstein said this is the biggest, dumbest thing we've ever did. It's a disaster. Oppenheimer said the same thing. Sokolov said this. All the people that invented it. No, they just keep going. They just keep going. She stands up for us. She's always stood up for us, but we don't stand up for her. I do. I try. How come we don't stand up for her? She's 84 years old. You talk to people abroad about this, and they're like, we don't care what she did. An 84-year-old nun's in jail? Being tortured? And you people call yourselves Americans. And you wrap yourself up in a flag. And you talk about the Second Amendment or whatever, First Amendment, whatever, and you have no clue, no rhyme, no reason. Hamilton would be disgusted. Remember this. Hamilton told on himself. Political co-op set him up with a sexy female, and he started having sex with her. And that's how much they hated him. Because to stand on the truth and be pure and do the right thing, you're going to be hated. I'll show you all of my emails one day. I got an email from, if you saw my emails when I was in critical, you still get them. I get hate mail like you would not believe via email while in critical condition. Because I've been standing on island and telling the truth. Same with Megan Rice. She loves her enemies. I don't love my enemies. Now, I have a long drive. Maybe that's why I'm alive. I've watched all these pure, beautiful people go. They call it the good fight for a reason. I've watched them go because they get themselves right. Dana, Paul, Carla, Tracy, Judy, all of them. I've held their hands. I watched them prep themselves for death, and it's not a pretty death. Going in and out of their comas as they pass. It takes a long time to pass this disease. When they tell you it's over, start prepping you for death. Not me. I can't forgive. I have a long ways to go. Megan Rice could teach me a lot of things. She has taught me a lot of things. I've learned so much through this path. Heartbreaking. I think the judge wants to let Megan go. I think even the government really deep down inside, maybe, they don't want to martyr her. They give her some more time. This would be the best thing that ever happened to the anti-nuclear movement. But the worst thing that happened to Megan. Megan's paid enough price. She's paid enough sacrifice. It's time for the rest of us to pay a sacrifice with our brains and our minds. We don't need to go to jail to be good, strong activists. We need to be intelligent. We need to call our congressmen and our senators and have conversations with their staff. Hey, they all have family members who've died. Start just connecting the dots in their brains with death via cancer and nuclear. And the Carlsbad sirens are going off down there. If that story through, that's how 3 Mile Island started. But this is no 3 Mile Island. What's in there thousands of times what's in 3 Mile Island. P-U. Let's hope. Let's hope. They got an event going on in Carlsbad right now. I can guarantee it. Something's gone. They got a leak and they got a fire going on. Now, will the fire, I don't know. Is it correlated? Of course it's correlated. Let's hope it's not a fire. But because it's fire, they'll never go out. They'll never get out and, New Mexico will be gone. Well, most of the country will be gone. But let's hope. No. I'm sure it's a leak. Are they going to be able to identify the leak? I hope. I don't know. Livermore will have. What a joke. Stand tuned. I'll have these freaking sentences coming to you live and direct the second I get them. It'll take me a while to upload videos. Hang in there with me. Stay tuned. I love all you guys. Fight on.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck.